And now we're in the subway park. Or the park subway, I don't know which. And here's this crazy son of a bitch. She's just flying all over the place. I think that might be poison. There we go, there's poison. The purple chick's poison. So that's where she comes from, if any of you are wondering that. And I believe in the... Oh, there's some release of this game that they're not in. I think it's the console versions of this, like Super Nintendo and stuff like that, the non-CD versions. Poison is actually remade to be a guy, or something like that. I believe. Knife dick. I'm actually doing pretty good on this compared to... Oh, and this guy's basically a playoff of Andre the Giant, who was like a pretty big name back in the day, which is why his name's Andor, or whatever. This guy's just stabbing and he ain't getting anywhere with it. I hate that they can actually beat you out of punches. At least they can beat Haggar out of punch combos. But here's your punch combo, though. I'll try and get this off. So yeah, you just do 2 punches and you slam overhead with a friggin' hammer fist, but what the hell, you know, it works. It does damage. This is an easy way to beat enemies in this game, too. Just jump, kick, jump, kick. I wouldn't go on that subway if you paid me. That thing's got all its windows busted out. Look at this shit. You guys are playing on their non-existent cell phones. Remember, when this game was made, the internet didn't even exist. The internet did not exist when this game was made. I know that there was versions of it for the government, but I'm talking about the public internet that people could like sign on like AOL and shit like that. Not BBS boards. I'm talking about like an actual internet with, you know, internet shit. It didn't even exist. Wasn't even out when this game came out. Think about that. Forget cell phones. Forget like actual like decent sized cell phones. Internet. Think about that. Think about how much you use the internet. Think about how much the internet is used for. And think about the fact that it actually hits me. That's so cheap. What the fuck? And that knife's actually hitting me from over there. That's really bullshit, you know. You can fuck off, buddy. I'm gonna give you a spinning dick driver for the final blow. Final blow. Put your head up my fucking dick. You unfortunately cannot throw a knife in the air, but I'm not really sure why you'd want to anyways. Spinning dick slam. Spinning dick slam. Non-spinning dick slam. Spinning dick slam. Yeah. I'm gonna drink a soft drink. It's like the size of my finger. Non-spinning dick slam. Dick spinning slam. Yes. Yeah. I like that sound he does when he does that too. He's like, yeah. Killing these poor bastards. Oh, I love that little slide he does, which you have no way of doing anything against, by the way. Fuck them up. Come here, Andor. I'm gonna get a knife in the chest. You got it. Take one. I like how he just stands there and he just eats the knife. That's great. Come on, charge me. There we go. He charges sometimes. And you know what you do if you charge? You get hit again. That's what you do if you charge. Come on, do that again. I got a roll for you. Unfortunately, that eats up your life if it connects. So you can only do it as long as you have even just a little bit of life. I think that's also where Zangief learned the spinning lariat was Haggar. Like that's actually, I think, in his bio or whatever, in Zangief's bio or whatever, his history, is that he used to like fight, is that Haggar actually used to be a street fighter. And in fact, this is a little bit more video game trivia for you guys. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is not the first game that Mike Haggar was in for a fighting game, like outside of this. In fact, he was actually in a game called Saturday Night Slam Masters that pretty much premiered him as like the... Wow, how did I grab him out of that? That pretty much premiered him as like, you know, the big draw of the game that you got to play as Haggar. And the thing about Saturday Night Slam Masters was it was a game where you basically went... that's so cheap. Where you went 2 versus 2 teams. And I can't remember if you got to all come out at the same time. Oh, this is kind of interesting here. Is the game over screen is it's going to blow his dick off. We don't want to do that. So let's play with somebody new this time. Let's play with Guy. So you get to pick Guy, and Guy don't take no shit. He just swings that motherfucker with 1 arm. Haggar needed 2 arms. This guy needs 1, because Guy's a fucking ninja. Anyways, you get rid of this stupid asshole. Get rid of El Gato. Should have said El Gato. Then he would have been the cat. But anyways, that pipe is spinning and grinning. But yeah, Saturday Night Slam Masters, you played as a bunch of different characters. You should actually look it up sometime. It's pretty interesting. But it was an arcade. It was an arcade game, so you actually played with multiple other people online, or not online. You actually played with multiple other people in the arcade and stuff like that. So it was actually pretty cool. But yes, that was Saturday Night Slam Masters. And they actually did a sequel too, but it was Japan only, I believe. And so that kind of sucked. But I played that in the arcade a bunch, actually. There was an arcade right in my well, I shouldn't really say my neighborhood. I guess it was probably about a good 4 or 5 blocks from where I was at. But actually probably even longer than that, but that's irrelevant. Anyways, I played that, and it was this arcade that had all these like newest games as they came out and everything. And I remember there actually being like lines for that game and people like playing and everything, and there was like actual little mini tournaments and stuff like that. And this was right around when like Super Street Fighter 2 came out and all that stuff. I remember picking Akuma in the arcade and like knowing the code, and people were like, "Whoa, oh, you do that?" And I'm like, I don't know, I think I was like 8 or 9 or something like that when this happened. And people were like getting their ass kicked by me, like all these like, you know, older teenagers and adults. They're like, "Man, you just got your butt kicked by that little kid, dude. Whoa," and all this stuff, and that was great. And then Virtual Fighter came out and stuff like that, and that was really cool too, because that was like the first, you know, oh crap, it's a 3D fighting game. And man, 90s were a great time for arcade games. 90s were a great time for arcades. 90s were a great time for video games, just period. Just all this new, cool stuff coming out, and people broke fences by just jumping over them. It was a great time. It was a great time. And then this is Guy's special, by the way. I'll do it here in just a second, but he does a spin and a grin and kick. This is where Sodom is from, but in this version he's called Katana, I guess, which will later become one of the code names for a Sega console. Even more useless trivia. Something interesting too is that hold on here, I want to get this motherfucker. Is that Rolento is also from this game. Rolento, who is in Capcom vs. SNK 2, and I believe he's also in Tekken X or Street Fighter X Tekken. He's also in that too. So yeah, he's also where he comes from. Is this game is where Rolento comes from. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, man, like, I feel bad. Like, this isn't like one of those, like, oh man, you guys suck dick. Like, it's honest pity, or whatever you want to call it, that people growing up nowadays, like my cousin is like, I think he's 8 years old, something like that. He was born in 2002, I believe. He won't get to grow up, like, he'll grow up in an era full of technology that's just mind-blowing compared to what I got to grow up with. Like, I grew up with Nintendo and AOL, you know? I mean, that's what I grew up with, and he's grown up with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and the Wii 2 when it comes out, you know, and he's got cell phone, he's got a cell phone, he's got, you know, a Nintendo 3DS that can take pictures and it's 3D and all this stuff. That's what he's grown up with, you know, and it's like, that's really neat in its own right that he's starting at that kind of technology, and by the time he gets my age, 26, there's going to be some pretty insane technology out there, probably. This is also where the car braking came from. Either that or Street Fighter did it first. I can't remember which. But either way, Capcom did it, so fuck it. But I guess kind of feel bad because it's like, you know, the arcade environment, man, was just amazing. Just like growing up in that, like as like a kid and then a teenager and everything, you know, going to the arcades and there being that like community there where you get to go and play the newest games that came out, and then go and like, you know, get something to eat with your friends afterwards, go to the movies. You know, play against each other in like fighting games. I guess that feeling of playing somebody in an arcade that's right next to you is just, it's undescribable. It's like, it's just really, oh, he got fucked up.